Hello there. Hi, y'all. I am back, and I was asked by one of you to talk about karma. Okay. And I think this is a good time to talk about it because of what I've recently experienced. Now, I told you all, I think I said it in a video, that my brother just passed away on the 14th. I think it was the 14th. Very, very unexpected, and man, it was the saddest thing that I can remember ever having experienced, and to think, like, even now, to think that he isn't here is just like that doesn't seem right. Like it's almost like if you read Fire and God, the part in there when I was in the, having the way I explained it, having this experience, and I'm looking at the computer, I'm like, what is a computer doing here? Like, why? Like, how did that get here? Here being what I interpret as eternity. Why is the computer here? It's the same thing to say that he's not here. It's like, what are you talking about? Like, that's not even, that doesn't make any sense, just like the computer did not make any sense, at that time, right? So everything that I have been, thinking and just looking at, because I've become very adept at just looking at things, and to see that I'm going to do the best I can with what I have, but to see that karma is basically, just everything that's happening, whether I interpret it as happening as if I'm doing it, or if it's happening to me, okay, or even to somebody else. All right. However I'm interpreting that thing, it's karma, it's doing. All right. Not even my doing, it's just doing. Okay. Karma is just doing. All right. And because what we typically think of karma is, like the universe is some kind of judicial system, you do something, that's your karma. And I hear that. Listen, I subscribe to different channels on YouTube, for educational purposes and just for mess. Okay. Because some people just messy. Okay. And I look at some of that stuff, right? And in there is always, oh my goodness gracious, you can't get away from it. Everybody always talking about, oh, I'm not worried about it because that's going to be your karma and all that, which is the same thing that we talk about in Christianity and other, religions, I'm sure. You're going to get your comeuppance some kind of way. Okay. God is going to avenge me, or you're going to, what's that scripture? Vengeance is mine, saith the Lord, all that. And, okay. All right. If that's what you want to see and believe, and, ways to navigate the world. I mean, all right. Okay. All right. That's all right. All right. But when as I've gone through this thing, and all these different feelings and stuff, with my brother, and seeing that, that seemed to be something that happened to me. Okay. And it also seemed to be something that happened to him, and to think that that's my karma does not mean I'm being, punished. Like my brother dying is punishing me for something. That's nuts. That's nuts. That's not what that means. It just means it's doing. Okay, and it's only my doing. I know I've heard people say my doing, because we feel like we're the center of the universe, right? Because everything is just coming out from here, right? So it's, yes, my doing. All right, fine. All right. Um, which doesn't mean I've done it, just it's my doing. Okay, the language is weird. I know. But let me tell you what I saw today. Okay, so I'm coming from the grocery store. I went in the grocery store. Oh my goodness, y'all. I made some red beans today that were just amazing. You understand me? They were amazing. They were so good. So I'm coming out of the store, and I'm putting my cart back in the little thing that they have there when you put your groceries away. And I have, from the very beginning, from when I wrote the story Lost in Space, okay, if you have Tales from Eternity, you know about Lost in Space, okay? But if not, really quickly, I wrote a story about how I was looking at a picture of myself when I was younger. I had to be like 13 or 14 or something. And I was with a group of people in Louisiana. Okay, we were outside. And I thought to myself, I said, I know that some of us in that picture are no longer here. Like some of my friends have died, and me, like I'm older. I've clearly grown, okay, since that 13, 14-year-old. The car that we were up against is no longer there. It's probably rusted and, whatever. The house is no longer there. That was in the background. The house is no longer there. Time has taken its toll on these things and broken them down, and they're just like, not there anymore. But the thing that is there, that nothing has touched, not a thing, is the space around us. Okay. And I wondered about that. I'm like, everything in that picture has aged. Some of it has died. Okay. But nothing in that picture is the same. Nothing except the space. The space is just as fresh and clean and new. Even the space around you right now, around me right now, fresh and clean and new, hasn't aged at all. Right. So I'm in the parking lot and I'm walking to my car. And I'm just looking. I'm looking at the people in the parking lot. I'm looking at the cars in the parking lot. And I see, like without having to read anything or whatever, I see that everything is in this space. This space that is fresh and clean and new and just, I'm not talking about air or atmosphere. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the space, okay? The thing that we call space. And back then I wondered, I'm like, I wonder what that is. Like, what is that actually? Okay. Like what is it really? And I just see that everything is here, is like born of it. The words I'm saying right now, the age, like me aging, like whatever is going on that I don't even see, all karma is born of this fresh, clean, new situation, whatever it is, which got me to thinking about my brother again, right? And to say, oh, he's no longer here. How like, where would he be if he's not in space, in this space? And, which was another thing that I would think about, right? And this was before my brother passed, right? I said to myself, why is it when somebody passes away, we say they're gone, but their body's right there? I'd never really thought of that before. I'm looking at it, it's right there. I can touch it and everything, but they're gone? What do you mean? They're right here. How are they gone? Okay. If they're here, when I'm all animated and all that, okay, like whatever that is, and I'm not giving it, I don't know what it is. I have no idea. I don't know. I really don't. But the idea that whatever that is gone, okay, is not something that I see as true. That seems like a falsehood to me. And again, this was before my brother passed on the 14th, okay? Because it didn't make any sense. It just didn't make any sense, all right? But in the parking lot today, like really seeing that, you know, and this is what it means when when you you just things are so simple. How simple is it to look around and see that everything is in space? How simple is that to see? When you look up at the sun, like, do you have to go to school for that? Like, do you even have to know a language for that? You know, you don't have to know anything for that. You just, like, it's just here. You know what I mean? And the other day we were talking about, I forgot what we were talking about, but I was talking to one of my colleagues about digital stuff, because I work in cybersecurity, right? And I asked the question. I said, well, how do we measure space? Like what's the unit of measurement for that, right? And he was like, oh, area times, but I was like, no. I'm not talking about length. I'm not talking about, height and all that. No, I said, how do we do that? Because when I was looking up some digital stuff about bits, what bits are, in the computers and all that, our senses, hearing, seeing, touching, is measured in bits. Okay. And a bit is just an electrical pulse in computing. That's what it is. It's an electrical, pulse that holds information, just like your DNA holds information, and you pass it on to people, if you're a parent or something. So that's really all it is, according to computing and computer science and stuff like that. So I was wondering, how is, because if everything is born of this space, comes out of it, and that's what the article Lost in Space is about, largely. Then whatever that is, we are. Okay. So how is it that is always fresh and clean and new, but it seems like we are not? Like I'm 46, right? I don't look the way I did when I was 13. All right. It seems like, we get older, or at least that's the way we talk about it. Now, language is a son of a bee. It can be, okay. I read somewhere that the purpose of language, the sole purpose of language, is to deceive. That's what I read somewhere. To distract you from what's actually going on. That's the purpose of language. All right. I'm like, I can believe that. Okay, I could get down with that. But in Lost in Space, the thing that really got to me, right, was I talk about, there's this video on YouTube called what is it called? Still face experiment. I know I've talked about it on this channel before. Still face experiment, STILL, still face. I forgot the doctor who did it, but it's an experiment where it's a research project where there's a baby. I think she's like 1 or 2. She's not, she can't talk yet. Okay. There's a baby and her mom. They're in a room. And you see the mom, she's just playing with the baby. You know how you play with your babies or your niece, your nephew, or whatever. You goo goo and you gaga, and the baby responds, right? She's laughing and, she's pointing, and mom is looking over and, just in her face, and, they're interacting together. Okay. Well, the doctor tells the mother, okay, I want you to take a still face now. So the mother, she's been interacting and everything with the child. She does this, like this. She's still there, but she stops reacting. She's no longer responding to the child. So the child, at first, she's still like, laughing and looking at mom and, but after a while, she sees that mom is there. Mom hasn't gone anywhere. She's still there in the room. But the baby is acting as if she isn't, because she gets really frustrated. She starts screaming. She starts crying. She turns back in her chair like she's looking for something, because mom has stopped responding. But mom is still there. Remember how I said when we say somebody has passed away, we say they're gone? But there's the body's right there. What are you talking about? They're gone. They're right here. What's gone? What's gone? The same thing that's gone in that still face experiment. Mom is still there. She's blinking. She's looking at the baby. You know, she's clearly alive, but she stopped responding. Okay? That made the baby, and so with the experiment, now this wasn't a non-dual experiment, it was an experiment to talk about how important it is for parents to engage with their kids, you know, to stay attached, you know, to you know, not detached from their kids and stuff like that. But another thing is that when um, mom stopped responding, it's possible that the baby felt a loss of control. Okay. If I do something and you react, you respond as if you hear me, as if you see me, you know I'm there. You're a witness. You are a witness to everything that I'm doing. Why? Because you're responding. You're reacting. When you stop doing that, that's not about you. That's about me. Okay? Because you're not responding, does that mean that I'm not here? Does that mean that I don't exist? What's happening in the space around us? Does the space around us respond to anything? No, it doesn't. It does not respond. Okay. So with my brother passing away, and I told my sister this too, my oldest sister. I said, when he passed away, we were crying. Yes, we were crying because he's gone, because he's no longer alive. Like, we're not gonna, you know, be able to talk to him, cook with him, you know, none of that. But we were also crying because we died too. Gary, his name was Gary. We were a certain person to Gary. Like, we have different, all of us, each one person, we have so many roles. Like, my mom sees me as a person, my boyfriend sees me as a certain person, my sister, my colleagues, my friends, strangers in the grocery store. All of these people have a persona of Cheryl. If these people are gone, the persona they created is gone. That's gone too. It's gone. It's dead. It's no longer here. It can't respond because they're gone. How is it going to do that? My dad, and he died when I was really young, so I barely remember him. Okay, but I do know he used to call me Bill. Bill was my nickname. Okay, and my dad called me. Bill was, like, you know, one of his best friends who had passed away, so he called me Bill. All right, he had a nickname for all of us. Okay, but my name was Bill. When he died, so did Bill. Nobody has ever called me Bill, you know, since him. Bill is gone. Nobody knows Bill because Bill died with my dad. You know what I mean? So all of this, you know, coming together, the still face thing, you know, what is the space around us, and other, and what I gathered, like what I noticed, is that we're just scared. Like, we're just afraid. Okay, we're scared. We're like that baby. Okay, because we're not getting a response. We're not getting a response. No matter what we do, no matter. We're waving our arms, we're creating babies, we're starting wars, we produce language, we're doing all that. Nothing's responding. There's no response. So if there's no response, what does that mean? Do we even exist? Are we even here? Okay. And in Firing God, I said, when I discovered that there is no God up there who sees me or knows me or hears me, first of all, I was terrified. Terrified. that nobody saw me or heard me. Okay. Terrified. Then I was mad as hell. I'm telling you, like livid. I was so upset. So upset. Okay. And it took me, like it really did take me a long time to come to grips with I'm living life without a witness. Okay. But it's okay. Nothing has really changed. I'm still, look, I'm on here talking to y'all. Right? Nothing has really changed except my perspective. Okay? Except my perspective, which is a huge change. I mean, that was child, that's the change right there, okay? That change of perspective. All right. And my ability to see things, obvious things, like ridiculously obvious things, and that's the thing that's hardest to see in the world is what's most obvious because it's right in front of your face. It's the hardest thing to see in the world. All right. So karma is everything. Okay. Now, whether we call it what happens to us, whether we call it what we do, that doesn't matter. Okay. It just is what it is. All right. And, I don't, my perspective of it is not as the universal judicial system. Okay. You're going to get your comeuppance, revenge is mine, saith the Lord, and all that. That's not the way I see things anymore. And that's what's important, right? I love how George Box, who's that famous statistician, how he said, every model is wrong. Every single thing you think, everything you believe, it's all wrong. Okay. Every model is wrong, but some of them are useful. Some of them are useful. I love that because I feel like even beliefs I have now, thoughts I have now, they're wrong. Do this exercise. Okay. This is what I do periodically. Every thought I have, I consciously see that it's not true. I don't care what it is. I don't care if it's a statement, if it's a question, if it's an image, whatever. It's not true. Okay. Because it's not the whole story. Like it can't be. You know what I mean? It's not the whole thing. Even that, it's not true. Just practice that for like 2 minutes. Okay. Whatever thought is in your head, it's not true. All right. Because I feel like what he's saying is, it doesn't matter. Okay. You believe that the earth is flat. Okay, fine, whatever. You believe it's round. That's whatever. You believe scientists know what they're talking about. Okay, good. Is that a useful thought? Is that a useful belief? Okay. How is it working for you, as Dr. Phil would say? Okay. Is it working for you? All right. Because you can lay it down if it isn't. You're not going to be you're not going to be diminished in any kind of way for laying it down or picking another one up. I tell people all the time, if I want to be a Christian again, I can do it in a second. Okay. If I want to, but is it useful for me to follow those rules? And for some people it is. Okay. For some people, something else is more useful. Okay. Is it useful for me to see myself as, the way society wants me to see myself as a mom? Is that useful? Okay. Some aspects of it are, some are not. The ones that aren't useful, I don't mess with that. Okay. I don't mess with it if it's not useful for me. Okay. It's not rocket science. It's really not. It's just everyday stuff. All right, y'all. Ooh, what time is it? 12:28. I'm going to bed. I just changed my sheets. I love sleeping on fresh sheets. So, yeah. So I'm going to be back here with y'all probably sometime this weekend. Okay, because I do want to talk about some other things with you. But I so appreciate you. being here, those of you who are here now, and anyone coming later, to look at the replay. If you're not subscribed to the channel, please go ahead and do so. We talk about really cool stuff over here, at least I think so anyway. And I'm going to see y'all here next time. Okay, y'all have a good night. Bye-bye.